This Muay Thai library session is with Robert Sifu McInnes. He's from New Zealand and he has a background in Kung Fu and in karate, but he's had decades of experience in Thailand and actually had a lot of interaction with some of the biggest names in Thailand during the golden era of Muay Thai. So he was very good friends with Master Yodtong, who is the head of the Sityodtong gym, which turned out the most champions ever of any gym in Thailand. And Sifu was there at that time. He was helping train the fighters. He helped train Yodsanan, who is in the Muay Thai library as well, and who's still very good friends with him. He has lots of epic stories about going to Bangkok with Master Yodtong 3 times a week, hanging out with the cream of the crop of the golden age of Muay Thai, and direct experience with the fighters of that time. He's one of, I don't know if there are any others, but he refereed as a Westerner in Lumpini. He just is a wealth of experience and knowledge, and why I really wanted to put him in the library is that as a Westerner, he bridges the way that Muay Thai was in the Golden Age and the way that we understand it, in the way that we digest pedagogy of martial arts in the West. So this one's a little bit different in that Sifu speaks English for one, so I'm not going to be translating for him. I'll just be interjecting at times of what his teaching felt like for me or experiences I was having and trying to do the techniques that he was showing me. But he's also incredibly thoughtful about the techniques that he teaches and why he teaches them that way, and he can explain that, which he does very well in this session. He also tells some really great stories from his experiences of the golden age of Muay Thai. He was there, he knew all these people. He had a house right next to Sityodtong Gym, very close to Kru Doi is how he's going to refer to him. Kru Doi was Master Yodtong. And I hope you guys enjoy this session. I think that there's a lot to pull from it, and I really like all of the things that Sifu thinks about in why he chooses the techniques that he teaches.
People don't realize that they hear these stories of these famous fights, but out of all of them, the most famous, the best none of them could even match him was Namkabo.
He was undefeated at Lumpini for a long time.
He was
6 years he was champion.
Until he left.
Yeah, he left to do a belt.
Ardaman and lost to Ardaman, but he didn't train or anything.
Yeah.
He was undefeated.
Namkabo vacated his title.
Yeah.
And he never got hurt.
Yeah.
The other one next to him, the best, if you want all my opinion of the best, was Namkabon, was the best of the best ever in the history of all. Another one was a guy called Denchai, who was the head referee, but he fought back in the 1950s, 1960s.
Denchai.
A good friend of mine, Denchai. He fought Denchai Kermandi. He was a chief referee for Lumpini, and he was tough. So those are the 2 that I would say were legends. Others have got their names, weren't really legends, but got their names from fighting like Ramandeka, but in Lumpini, they were okay fighters. They were top ranked. So, Sakmon Kong was probably one of the highest out of that group against the foreigners. But against the Thais, he got beaten by Boonlai, Sortanikon and guys like that were just average at those times.
But really good fighters.
Back.
Always good fighters.
He never fought a bum. Sakmon Kong never fought a bum.
Always good fighters.
The lowest ranked fighter he would have ever fought was Ramandeka. And Boonlai Sortanikon. Boonlai was not top ranked then.
But he could beat.
He beat him.
He could beat a few people.
What happened was Boonlai came in and he knew he had one chance, and that was it. He was going to be finished. He'd be finished, and he just from what I understand, they atnun, which means they threw money.
Oh, injection.
Yeah, but big money, and he just went stupid, and he just went in the fourth and fifth round.
And took the fight.
No, he just went like a machine. Someone couldn't do anything, got knocked out. Yeah, no, I think he got elbowed, then a hit kick, but he knocked him out cold. So he was the main. He was at the top then, and then he started to come down. After that fight, then Turkit beat him too.
Yeah, Turkit.
And then Namkabon beat him.
So good that
yeah,
fight.
he started coming down then, and then Turkit come up. Then Sakmonkon come back again when he beat. Who did he fight? I think it was Nampon. I think he beat Nampon. Yeah, he cut Nampon. And he started coming back up again. Then he had his second fight with Ramandeka, and he killed Ramandeka. And that was it. He's superstar then. So he was getting odds, big money, but not against the Thais. Against the Thais, he's averaging normal, maybe 200,000-300,000 baht a fight, sometimes 600,000 baht a fight. But then when they bring over when they brought over Ramandeka, then the other guys from that group, a guy called Dida, Diafat, and all those, they used Sakmankong to take him down, him and Koban. And they used to clean all
that was the two Thais that were facing.
They were the only ones that did. Changpuk was too punch drunk. They'd only use him for like heavy guys. Then they dumped Changpuk and they pulled in Syed's Khan. Okay, you know Syed's Khan? Syed's Khan. You don't know Syed's Khan? Syed's Khan more famous than Sakmon. Syed's Khan came across and he started fighting all the foreigners and that. He was mean. Diesel had no chance against that guy.
Oi.
Syed's Khan, and another one was who was it? Jesus, now I can't remember all the names. So many of them. Syed's Khan was the toughest of the over 72 kilo guys. Oh, he's one from Mansurin's gym.
Oh, Mansurin were all good boxers.
Jack. Yeah, Jack from Mansurin's gym. He was from Samlan Sak's personal student. He was about 78 kilos, and he went to the Olympics for boxing. What's his name? Jesus, he fought Nick Cara.
Oh.
What?
Nick Cara is Big Bear in Ong Bak, for those who don't know.
He's bigger than Nick.
Yeah.
Oi.
Yeah, he beat
Australian
Nick.
kickboxer.
What's his name? คนไทยที่ตัวใหญ่ๆที่ตัวนิกที่รายการผมแล้วที่ไปโอลิมปิก
It'll come to you.
Yeah,
It'll come to you.
Okay, so what do you want to do? What we do is we'll show. So I'll use Junior for a little bit to show, and then do it with you.
Junior is Sifu's son. He was raised in Thailand.
Do I talk while
This is
I'm doing
WKO
it?
Gym
Yes,
in Pattaya.
please. Yeah.
And Sifu has raised Junior basically as a martial artist. He fights in Japan. This is the dojo area of WKO in Pattaya. So this is where the karate lessons happen. There's a Muay Thai ring and Muay Thai training upstairs from here.
Sorry, Tuesday.
Well, what was so special about
Friday and Saturday, Kutui and me would get in this old beaten up
Kutui is
BMW,
Sityotong.
which was green,
Master Yotong.
that he'd had for 20. Samak bought it for him when Samak won his first money in boxing.
Who was this?
Kutui. Sityotong.
Oh.
And we used to live together, same house. I trained all his hands for all his fighters, for Kong Tatani, everybody. So what they did was, we get in the car, we drive all the way to Lumpini every night, and it took 4.5-5 hours because they didn't have a highway.
Yeah.
We used to go over the bump roads.
It now takes like 2 hours to drive to Bangkok.
We'd leave here at 1 a.m. and get there at about 5 a.m. Fighters would check the weight, then we go to Massey and have a sleep. And we did this 3 times a week from 1991, 92 until 2000 and maybe 4.
More than 10 years.
Yeah.
You did this every week.
Every week.
Oh,
When did they build the Super Highway 7?
2007 it opened. No, it opened in parts. It opened
So
in
a
parts.
fast part and a slow
it was
part.
okay. Problem was, Kutui's car was so old that sometimes we didn't even know we were going to get there. So we used to, and the fighters sat in the back of a pickup
Yeah.
to go all the way there.
Yeah. We've done that. We went to Shorin that way.
Okay. First of all, so we start filming now, are we?
yes.
Okay. What we'll do first is we'll show just this way that I teach and I've taught all the time, that I believe the first principle is the footwork. Because if you don't have the footwork, you don't have the escape routes, you don't have an exit plan, and you don't have a way to get in. The next point that I like to push across is that body weight with the footwork. Okay, because without body weight with footwork, especially in lighter weights, you don't get knockout power.
Yeah.
So we concentrate a lot on that. Last, ambidextrous. It's real important for Muay Thai fighters. If you go to any champion, Thai champion from the years before, from the 1989, 1990s up until when it started to wither out, when it was just Lumpini and Ladaman, you would see that nearly 90% of fighters, the top end ones like Namkabon and that, they could go left, right within a split second and no one would ever know.
We asked Samart, he doesn't know if he's left or right-handed.
He's the same. He's the same. None of them do. The real guys will not know whether they're left or right.
Yeah.
So that's what we work on. So I'll just show you how we started. We call money. Many norma.
So Sifu did the boxing training for fighters at Sityodong, and that includes Samart, who is probably one of the most well-known switching fighters. So it's interesting for him to be talking about low body weight, but using body weight for power, because Samart does not look like he has knockout power in the way that he fights, but he absolutely does.
Okay, so what happens is, to change from ambidextrous, first of all, you've got to have confidence top end and in the feet. When you change your punch from your left to your right side, you don't lead with the punch. In other words, as the foot changes, the punch goes. You don't change your feet punch.
So
Otherwise you get counter.
Yeah.
Otherwise you get a counter shot, you get hit, bam, you go down.
Yeah.
So what happens, every time you want to change orthodox, southpaw, orthodox, you need to let something go.
So the strike
Camouflage
comes
it.
with the switch.
No, just camouflage it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can't tell whether he's going orthodox or southpaw.
Yeah.
So you need to do a lot of just bouncing left, jab, swap back, go like that. And you do this for a lot. And what it'll do is because your brain, when you think left to right, switches opposite sides, but your feet don't. No, because your feet are auto-responsive.
Right.
It's not thought. When you walk, you don't think, I've got to take a step.
Yeah.
It's an auto-responsive movement.
Yeah.
Okay, whereas if I think I want to shake your hand, the right side of my brain tells the left hand, go shake her hand, you see? But when I walk, nothing's telling, it's just an automatic thing. My head says walk over there and some things start.
Get me there.
Yeah,
It's not
things start
left,
to
right.
work.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I think you're
on
right.
it. And you can see it develop really fast by working on this system, and a lot of fighters can't. They'll go like that and then they'll change southpaw like this and then get tagged.
They're trying to think their way through it.
Yeah, they're just trying, someone says, oh, he's throwing left hook, swap your stance. And so they just step, bam, and they get hit.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you should swap your stance, not by a command, but based on the angles that the opponent's coming in on you. Okay, so if you're standing in a guard, southpaw guard like this, and the opponent's coming across this way, you don't want to be standing this side.
Because it's moving.
Yeah, so what you do is you swap across. So I'll just show you. Give Sylvie up here too, otherwise. Did you get a broken nose out there? Was that an old clip someone
I
put
broke
on?
it 4 times.
Just lately?
No, I've had this for
Oh,
a long
it was an old clip. Someone said you
She
just broke
broke-
your nose.
No, first time.
Oh, she put up a photo of the first time, which was 6 years ago.
Okay. I was thinking,
Yeah,
geez.
no. She's broken it almost only in training. Once in a fight, and then 3 times in training.
Oh.
A Thai boy who didn't want to clinch with her.
Oh.
So he
Thai
did.
boys don't like when I'm strong. They don't like it.
Okay, so what happens is you make a fake line like this. Now, when you're fighting with somebody, the safety zone is 30 centimeters. Outside of 30 centimeters, your peripheral vision's not focusing. If it's inside 30 centimeters, your peripheral vision is constantly trying to pick targets up. And that's
How far is 30 centimeters? Just
30
like,
centimeters from the closest point. Like for instance here.
okay.
See what you got to do? You got to move back to
Well,
focus.
but
No, well, that's
Yeah, yeah.
natural.
So from your face, it's like here, right?
Yeah, no, it's from your closest guard.
So if my hand's
Oh.
here,
So if you put your guard up,
It's from your hand.
yeah, what happens is, no, just put your guard up like a boxer. Okay, for me, I'm going to stay right here where I'm going to reach you like that.
Right.
But if your hand was here, I'm going to be here.
Because
Because
you're
right
targeting
now it's not blurry, here it's blurry. So what happens is when you start moving your hands, I'm starting to look at it too much. So you keep the safe zone is 30 centimeters from the closest point of their body. Probably the easiest way.
The thing you can focus on.
Yeah, and you can always reach past 30 to hit if you can float. So what we do is, yeah, we go by side, one. Okay, so it's,
Look at Junior's feet and how easily he switches between left and right. His hands
the
don't
trainer
stop as he
should be
switches.
trying to feel the difference in weight of the punch. Okay, that's, if I feel a weaker left than right, then it's not right. He's got to speed it up.
And is the punch landing as the foot lands?
Exact
The
same
same
time.
moment?
If he's coming forward, see, get it. Now see, his style is more like Muay Thai. He doesn't put his leg right out the front
Like.
because he sort of does karate too, and you're not allowed to block. So what he would do is he would keep his feet more here than here.
So it's a little bit more square.
Well, what happens? They do this. You see, they do that. You're not allowed to do it in Muay Thai, but in karate they can do that. And also it means he can swap from boxing to karate to Muay Thai without changing his footwork.
So it's like a universal stance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he's floating forward now, jab forward. Go quick.
So look at the difference in his feet, how he's kind of
So
hopping
you
now.
see it like that, not this way.
Oh.
Because you go like that, it's quad calf, quad ham, and you just get tired. Here it's nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can go for hours. You don't burn out. You don't get tired legs. The second thing is, when he goes here, this whole leg's like a rock.
Yeah.
So if he gets tagged with it, it's not worrying him. So he'll actually take the hit and then throw the strike. So what you got to do now is you got to go south. Yeah, just like that. Not too much that you get here. Just there. Yeah. And when the kick goes, we just do that. Or check it. It's up to you what you want to do. Sometimes they're so close you can't check.
Right.
Because when you check, you can't kick. Because your foot's in the air.
You can't counter
So
it.
what they would do is, if you were to kick me, say you're going to kick me here, I'd go straight, bam, and just take the shot. So you really have to be conditioned as well as if you want to cross train. So you're going to bounce now, just bounce in and out first before you jab. Okay, see, don't change the weight from one to the other.
It stays in the middle of the whole
You go there, go bounce.
It's like you're on a
That's
tire.
better, that's better. Yeah,
To
yeah,
me,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is like
yeah.
bouncing on a tire.
better.
It's where your weight
And
is not
now
going fully on the
change.
front and back.
And change. As you change, jab. Jab. Before the change. Hey, look.
This
right?
was hard for me.
Jab. Jab.
I think I was
Yeah.
trying to coordinate my foot
If
with
you
my
wanted to
hand,
change
but you
it,
coordinate
okay.
your hand with your
You'll go
balance.
1, 2 and change. Bang, bang. Yeah, like that, see? Bang, bang. Now, I'll give you an example. In 10 seconds, Now, say 15 seconds, watch how many times he changes. Kun shadow, just shadow box, len. And salap sai kwa. Count how many times you see him change orthodox to. Five more seconds, go. Hey, young mate, how many times?
I got 14.
Yeah, about 14 to 18 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, but very elusive, you don't see it.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to read the stance and find the obvious attack point.
That's because the foot and the hands change same time.
Yeah.
So what you got to do is, when you're bouncing like that, so you bounce the jab, pull it back quicker, bam, snap it in. Okay, now you're hitting when your foot's down, but your foot's going back and you're still on the pad.
Yeah.
As soon as it's palm, it's like boom, boom, like that. So it's boom, that's it. Yeah,
I
go.
can do one, yeah.
No, you're going to go that way. Do four. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2,
The change happens when you're kind of in mid-air, which is what was tricky for
change
me.
quicker. Change. Don't think of that. Change.
That's nice.
That's good. Now if I change,
So he wants me to read his change, and then I change in response to it. It's like seeing the target and hitting it.
that's what they call focus mitts.
Yeah.
The dots is what-
But it's exactly what you said. Like, you have to have the organization of your lower body and your upper body, and mine aren't working in tandem together.
Yeah.
It's like
It
two.
all comes. So what you do
two
is we
things.
separate it then. So how medicine do something.
That's really cool, baby.
You.
I started becoming more pogo instead of the.
Yeah.
No, so what you got to do now is you've got to isolate the hit first,
Right.
the top end.
Balance.
Mm.
So what you'll do is you'll throw good hooks and straights. Now when you hold it, okay, there you go.
This is incredibly hard when you
need to have
first
the
start.
confidence to throw the punch and don't worry about the feet.
Right. Just let the feet crack themselves.
Just let the, don't do what you're supposed to do, they won't matter. So if you can get power top end without worrying about where your feet are going, the second thing, this develops all the ACs, all the little joints, all the muscles.
You can see all the tiny muscles
Yeah.
going.
More tiring doing this than around the pads, in the legs. Okay, so you have a go.
I learned this from Sifu a couple of years ago, and I used to practice this on my own at the gym.
It's been a while
so
since you
this
did
is
that.
not the first time I've done this, but it's been a
Did
long
this for like
time.
a year after you taught it to her.
That's it.
My knees are not bent the way
Okay,
juniors
why
were.
don't you go back further? Because you're too much.
Slapping myself a bit.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. What's the punch coming out okay, but the comeback is too delayed, it's too slow.
Snappier.
You're doing it like an exercise. Every time you throw the shot, you've got to imagine it needs to be back here. So you don't want to get in the habit of going boom and thinking that's where it's finished.
Yeah.
If he goes down, good on you. But if you
Yeah.
don't, you're in the shit. So what you do is you every time you shot, it's got to come back. It
Okay.
also retains your balance.
Okay.
Mm.
That's it. That's it. Good.
Yeah.
Now move one of the balls slightly forward in your stance. There. That's better. Yes. Good. Bend the knees when you start to feel the balance go.
Yeah.
When you feel like if you get hit and tagged, the worst thing you can do is try and stay upright.
Totally.
Just drop your body weight down a little bit
Yeah.
and things will give you buy you a little bit of time. So if you ever get tagged, what you do is drop the body weight down, flat feet.
From the knee.
Yeah, because it sort of sends a signal to your brain you're stable. Instead of trying to get you to find your. The worst thing you can do is you see them try and get back up. You know.
So I'm bending my knees a little bit more here, which helps. Learning to find your balance in your feet instead of waving your arms around is part of this lesson.
Load it up, more power.
I'm not twisting enough on the punch, like that's not a true punch that you would throw, so he's making me be more realistic in how I would throw the punch so that I'm forced to find the balance the way I'd actually throw it.
And that goes to show how much this builds muscle memory, because I've not done that in a long time.
Yeah. So now what's happening is if you're going to throw a punch now, say you're standing in your stance, and you're going to pop forward and throw a left hook. So a little bit of a bounce, pop. That's it. Don't think about the feet. Just pop the shoulder. The feet will come. That's it. See. Okay. Your back foot's drifting because you're thinking about your feet.
Yeah.
So
My front
what
leg
they're
is too
saying
straight.
It's telling you,
I'm like
because you move
peg
that way,
legging.
you have to turn your body like that. It's automatic.
Okay.
When you pop it, sink the front knee a little bit.
Do I bring my weight forward, or it stays in the center?
Yeah, bring it forward, but sink it down a little bit. Yeah, as you show the hook. You see, double power. See, there's double power.
Yeah.
And yes. That's it. That up there. When you throw these hooks, always keep that hand up, because when you're moving forward, I automatically going to throw a big hook.
Yep.
So keep that up. No, you forgot to sink that time. Sink, bend the knee in. That's it. Faster. That's it.
So now my front leg is bending more.
Now I'm going to be further away. My hands, you've got to float. So you've got to float in. That's it. See, that's hard. If you hit them with that, then you're going to drop it.
Done.
No, that's good. So now he does a little bit different because he's taller. He sort of floats across, and that's because he fights with no gloves. So when he impacts, he needs to be square. After you have a look at his knuckles there, he has to float around. So when he goes, you see what he does?
The lift?
See the bounce?
Yeah.
He's in the air normally.
Oh, is it in the air more?
Yeah, when the back one comes, he's in the air. There's no weight on his legs. It's sort of just on the ground. So it's like.
And why is that impacted by no gloves? Because you have to be more accurate.
He has to hit square on or break your hands. Yeah. And if you get tagged with bare fist, you go down. Especially that kind of impact.
Keep your hands.
So what they do is they have their hands are up here further. See where his hands are? And Muay Thai wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Because they come across, they'll go and they'll clinch like this.
Yeah.
But with a bare fist, if I move, he just goes boof. If I go to clinch, he goes boof. But with a glove, if he hits me, I might be able to take it and still get the clinch on. But a bare fist can't take it.
Yeah.
So what he does is, like if he's got to reach, you see that?
It's fast too.
But watch the feet. Bob Saps,
Boy.
It's not coming from here, because it's only little, it's coming from down there.
Yeah.
And I feel it, because I feel the impact, and it's coming back quick, but I still feel a push, which means body weight behind it.
Oh, the body weight's moving.
Yeah,
Like a refrigerator rolling.
Yeah, I feel like a. Normally, if you just jab, hard. I just feel that.
Yeah.
When it's coming, it's pushing. There's a big difference. So you try.
Still a hook?
This works
Good
for
job.
kicks and
Yeah.
knees in Muay Thai as well, coming with
I
the
want
lower
you to
body
float. Just
on
don't
all
forget
strikes.
your feet and concentrate. You need to hit that as hard as you can. That's it, harder. And pull it back quicker. That's it. Now float it. You go way here. You've got to reach past here. That's it. Go.
How do I come back off of that when I'm landing inside?
You don't, you float off. You watch his angle. Look, come one more. He goes in, he goes out that way. See? He don't go back the same way he just came.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that because you go like this, poof, it's easy to back off like that.
Yeah.
Than it is to go poof and back. Second of all, if you hit the ropes, you can't get out. That's it. No, hit it first and just let it go where it's supposed to go. That's it. That's good, huh? Now turn it quick. Now further back. Go, reach. Don't step, jump at me. Yes.
Actually, going airborne is very important for this, but a little bit difficult because my trust is in my feet being on the ground. So you have to trust that moment of jumping.
Ooh, that's better. So now you've got to do it not
Sifu's
flat
faster
foot.
than You're so much faster than me.
Now you've got to do it not flat foot.
Okay. Like
Look, dance.
a little spring.
Yeah, dance. Now you're dancing, stopping, and hitting me.
Yeah.
Don't.
That was the same thing when I was doing the switching of stance with the jab, is I would stop and then switch, or stop and then punch. You have to do this to get to the point
Don't
where
ever
he's
think
talking
which
about
way
it's
you
like
have
walking.
to go. If I'm facing this way, you're not going to go there.
Because it's going into.
You're going to go outside of the reach and around there. So, yeah, like that, see? You stay outside of the reach, boom, that's it.
Do I try to like cut the angle closer to you?
No, because you should have contacted me.
Okay.
If you haven't contacted me, you cut the angle out a bit and start again. Yeah, like that, that's it. Now if you contact me, you'll come in close, turn around. As I turn onto you, you're going to throw a big hook and knock me out. Boom. You understand?
Yeah.
Boom. Yes. Because I'm going to be dazed and I'm going to hit where I last saw you.
I'm gone.
Where I last
when
saw
you
you.
throw that-
I like that. I like that.
When you throw that second hook, it's got to go over top because he's going to be like that. So it's like a boom, like that. So you go one, jab first, jab, 1, 2, then boom, yeah. And then as this one goes, hook here, this comes up here.
Or
Your head's
uppercut.
there anyway.
Or uppercut.
Yeah.
Do you mean kick or?
You meant
No, you just
Oh.
kick him.
Oh, kick him.
Kick him. But you need to bounce and hit. Junior, dance and jab. Yeah, get in.
If you look at how Junior's feet are always moving, Harahat does that same thing, but with his feet much closer together, and switches stance.
Right?
You see?
Don't stand in front of me.
Yeah.
Go on, hit it.
Yeah. He's gonna hit me anyway.
That's it. That's it. You didn't go enough. You see, you hit me, I blinked,
Yeah.
but when I open my eyes, you're still
I'm
there.
still there.
That's what happens.
You were.
Within this, from here, Japanese, they call it moichi. So when someone does that. So when you do that, I blink, open, you want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I refocus.
Momentary
It's like a
confusion.
horror movie.
That's it. Jump. That's it. Keep your hand up. Straight.
How does she mix switching
My
stance
head went, but my
in
feet
that?
didn't go.
How does she mix switching stance? Because she's just
She'd
being
wait till
orthodox.
I moved in. Here. If I charge, he's going to step there. Switch stance, pull from hip.
Oh.
Whereas a normal fighter will just bounce around and we're like that.
Like a chasing game.
Yeah, what he'll do is he'll crash forward as I turn, his power hands on the other side.
Yeah.
Right
It's
now,
kind of like cutting
I'm
off the
worried about
ring
this
backwards.
and this. Once he steps here, throws this leg to the back. This hits me, which is his power hand in front, and this is secondary now.
A power hook
Yeah,
from the lead.
Yeah, from his natural.
Mm.
If I move this side, he's just gonna do that, poof, poof. If I charge, he does that, poof.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then he can add knees. If I go straight, he skip knee, bonk. If I step past this side, hit, bam. Okay, if I go this side and go for reach for the clinch, he's gonna hit me. Whereas in now, in the old days, everybody did that. Look at all the movies of Kong Tarani and Namkabot.
Yeah.
When they moved for the clinch, they would hit them.
Yeah.
Now they put their hand up like that and
block
fight
it.
for the clinch.
Yeah.
In the old days, the clinching was really tough.
Very different.
Now clinching is more defense.
M150 Aussie.
So that's what happened. And the other thing with the older style fighters, the knee was defense only. It was never used on an attack. You never saw anybody come in and throw a knee like this, because you just get knocked out. What happened is, as he moved one step, boom, I'd throw the knee.
Oh, as a counter.
Always only a counter. Except if I hit him, he was on the rope, so I'm going to do a flying knee because I'm in the last end of the round, or
For a big moment.
Yeah, but yeah, you've hurt them and it's a moment. But they will never go knee, poof, because you're gonna get hit. Okay, what they will do is, as I'm punching, they will throw the knee. You see?
Counter, yeah.
So the knee and the elbow would work together in the old days. So he would go knee, poof, bam.
Yod Kumpan.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
I'd be here, he'd throw upper elbow, poof, knee.
Yeah.
But he would never go knee, donk,
Yeah.
because the guys in the old days could punch.
Yeah.
They all had boxing mixed in.
Yeah, because the promoter would say, this week you're fighting boxing.
Yeah.
You had to do what you were told.
Yeah.
There was no, I don't box.
That's like we were watching not Berkler Pinson-Chai, but a Berkler older than
Ask
that one.
Kalahad how many times
And he
he had
was
to
like-
spar with Sansor Banjit. Ask him.
So punch it all the time. But he was defensive. He was like a backwards fighter, and the knee would just come out as people were coming in. Not Berkler.
Yeah, is another Berklerk, older Berklerk, 1970s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he was a knee fighter, but he fought knees backwards.
Yeah,
He was never going forward with them.
Most of them do, unless they've hit
Yeah.
you. If I've hit him like this, poof, I'm going to throw a knee. But most of them, it's going back. His knee's backwards only. And he punches backwards.
Yeah.
He don't hardly ever go forward.
Yeah.
Is be able to change your orthodox stance really quick. So just shadow. Let's see, just shadow box. And you go to Julia here so she can see.
Yeah.
Because later she can watch the tape when the push changes.
You'll see he strikes on the switch more than I do. But I'm more comfortable doing this than I was doing the bouncing switch.
Okay. First thing is this here. Look. Ring control.
You said ring control.
That's your opponent. Okay? In the ring, you have to constantly concentrate there. Don't think I'm going to push him out to the ropes.
You want to stay in the middle.
Yeah, always. Whoever's got ring control wins on the points all the time. So what happens is, every time you're moving around, all your shadow is based on that. If he pushes you back, you still base around it. Don't try and push him back, straight line.
Right.
Because you don't have the momentum to do that. Not unless you're twice as strong. He's got momentum coming forward, he's got aggression coming on you, you're defending. So what you do is, you move off, you knee, you punch, and you keep doing this. You going off 2 centimeters or 2 inches here stuffs his forward momentum right up.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do is, when they come forward, they do this, and then they start trying to push back.
Like on a track.
So if he's in a ring, he'll try and concentrate the whole ring in 2 square meters. No?
Oh, keep the fight right in the phone booth.
His whole fight game will be here, unless that guy's moving backwards.
Right.
Then he'll just move his dome.
They just follow the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, everything's around everything's around that ball. And now he's changed his stance. He's done maybe 3 times, 4 times this game.
Yeah.
Does he change stance every time he changes direction?
No, it depends. He will. If I'm coming at him like this, and he's standing that way, he's good there. The minute I throw a punch and he moves, he'll change stance because make me correct. But look, his power hand's got the lead now.
Right. Because it's a shorter angle, because you don't want
And that's his natural power hand.
Yeah.
So now he's got the power of a big straight in his front hand.
Yeah.
You see, so he'll swap depending on on what I do. But what I try to do with them when they're shadow boxing is constantly change with the bounce. Bounce, that's it.
It's kind of like bag work in shadow.
Yeah.
I tend to be really
Don't be
linear
scared
in
to
my
change.
shadow,
Some
so
people
this is
scared
really
to
good.
change left to right hand. They think that they feel unconfident.
Well, Carhat was training her over the last year and a half, and he's trying to get her to change.
He did that naturally.
Yeah, there
That
was
real. That's what made him famous.
He said what you said. Put the power hand in the front occasionally, because
Much
you're
as you
strong.
can.
Yeah.
Really, as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when they come, you got to push them off with a power hand. When
Yeah.
you grab, you got to grab with a power hand.
And because this one's back, it's going to have more power than if it's in the front anyway. So you take
And it
the weak
moves
side
quicker.
and make it powerful by
Mm.
putting it in the back.
Your natural hand will move quicker. So more natural on it. So that's what you want to do there. So now let's say you're going to throw a combination with a leg kick, and you're going to go maybe 1, 2 body and drop with a leg kick. So come next on that hand. Okay, so a little bit different to Muay Thai. Okay, my style, the way we used to do it in the old days, and that was this. As this hand is coming, this is already on its way. Whereas the new style that I see guys teaching Muay Thai now is like 1, 2, 3.
There's like a pause between.
Yeah, it's like a separate part of it.
Yeah.
The punching is the setup for the leg kick.
Yeah.
But if you drop it on the way, the leg kick becomes a knockout as he's going down.
Yeah.
So you don't think, I'm just going to do a leg kick or I'm just going to do a punch. That's the actual thing, okay? And there's a small jump, which puts body weight behind it.
Oh.
Otherwise, it just becomes a leg kick.
Yeah.
So the punches are just to get the guard tensed up top.
No, what happens is, if say you're in your stance like this and I do this to you, it's all weak.
Loosen.
Now when she leans forward on it, it goes like a rock. So what I do is, as I'm doing it, look, for me to kick your leg now, you're going to be in pain.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, so
In karate,
It'll
it's not
lengthen
that
the muscle.
yeah. In the old days, the Muay Thai guys would go like this, they'd peek jab.
Yeah.
And then as they would go bop bop like that, or bop bop, as this foot come down, they threw the leg kick.
Oh.
Because the person would go like this for the push kick, to push the push kick off. Okay.
And relax their
Or
leg.
some of the Thais would go like that to take it,
Right.
and the whole
that was
leg
loose.
goes leg.
Yeah.
So you throw and that's how Ramandeka caught up to the Thais.
He started getting his kick faster on top of his
No,
hand.
he realised, because he used to train with a lot of the back in the old days, there wasn't much Muay Thai back in Holland, so they had a lot of karate in that.
Yeah.
So they used to take a lot of leg kicks. In the old days, the foreigners thought, take massive leg kicks and you can
Toughen
You can
yourself.
toughen yourself up. They didn't realise it's a process. So what happened was, his style of fighting was real hardcore, old style. He thought, you can't hurt me.
Yeah.
He went in the ring with that attitude.
Yeah.
So what he used to do was, he used to have this really long jab like that, and he'd pop it out, and the guys would go like that. And you can see him kicking Koban sometimes, and Koban's doing this, which is unheard of. But it was because he had the ability to make people go off their front leg and make it soft.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're talking about Duuglas-Ittu before. Duuglas-Ittu had that ability because of his long reach.
Yeah.
That's what really threw Samart off, was Duuglas-Ittu would put his hand right out like
Just
that,
leaning back.
and Samart used to do this, and then suddenly Duuglas-Ittu had this massive leg
He
kick.
was just teaching her. Duuglas-Ittu was just teaching her low kick.
Yeah.
2 months ago.
He had taken it from Wich Hanoi.
Wan Chan Noi you're probably talking
No,
about.
Wich Hanoi. Not Wang Chanoi. Wich Hanoi. He
Who-
fought.
who's
Diesel
older?
Noi. He was the only one to beat Diesel Noi, but back
Oh.
He
in the
beat Duuglas-Ittu 2 times.
He used to be a Muay Thai fighter, but he became Muay Mat later on to like extend his career. He's short.
Yeah, most of them do, because they could go to boxing after
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do, here we want one more. What I want you to do is get that timing so it's not.
Right?
I want it to be,
Yeah.
lang lang,
Oh.
like that. Okay. But don't take power out of this. More into that.
That's a big point, is
Okay,
that
so you
people
just
will
slowly
kind
load
of
it up.
sacrifice the power
Yeah.
on one strike to make the other one
And just
strong.
keep
They all have
going
to be
at it.
strong.
Go below the check.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
What does that mean?
Watch the old.
When someone brings their leg up, you go under it.
Go so you hit the ankles here.
No, you're saying right on the leg.
Yeah.
Under the check.
Yeah.
Like, don't hit
like
the
Raman
shin.
Decker used to do.
Kick through it.
No, when he blocks, if he check, they don't see these guys. They kick like this. Some of them. But this is easy. Anybody can kick like that. But kicking like this, you don't get injury. You don't get shin block. So if he blocks and I go full on here and hit his ankle, I'm gonna bust his ankle. I have a good chance of it. Or sweep him.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're going for the big leg kick, don't risk the shin to shin.
Right.
So you've got to come down. And
you-
you've got to go lower. You've got to imagine me here like that, blocking. You've got to be down there, because that'll just flap. And you've got to hit him with this. If you can't hit him with this, he's going to be still strong on his front leg. More here. Bounce a little bit. More on the straight. Nearly, and now he's starting to kick up again. That's it, yeah. That's it. Okay, now watch. Go one more, Junior. Watch the bounce, the body weight change on the feet.
Right.
See how he comes
Okay,
off of
the
that.
weight. He's actually almost in the air when he's touching it. So it's 75, 80 kilos.
A hammer.
A little jump, just
Yeah.
a small jump.
Ramba and Berkler both jump on their leg kicks, and they're nasty.
And the secret is, don't sacrifice top end for bottom end.
Yeah.
A lot of people will do that.
Yeah.
Like pop, pop, pop.
They,
No, a lot
make
of
their
people will
punch
do
weak.
this light to put the big leg kick in. Don't sacrifice. You've got to be able to go either way, because that's where the knockout happens. When they see the leg kick coming, they go to defense and suddenly they get hit bang bang. Or they come in and they get hit up top and they do it and they forget downstairs.
Yeah.
So don't sacrifice something that might work.
To make it all hard.
Yeah. That's it. Now one here. More here. That's it. Okay. When you're finished from it, some guys, when this leg comes down here, they're going to go puff up top end. In the old days, Namkabon used to do it all the time. Someone would be, as he's coming on this side with his leg kick, he'd go like that.
Oh.
This is why balance is so important.
You've got to vary out. Kun toi te toi te o. Toi te o. ไม่
เตะแล้วโดดออก
ใช่ See what he does?
Yeah, get out of the way.
Yeah, because if I was here getting hit, he's kicking my leg here. This is coming up. So he doesn't come round here.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going right there. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so don't. If you drop him, no problem. But if stay away.
Stay away from the right kick. The
It's going
kick.
to come up. Someone going to take the leg kick. That's it. Yes, yes.
I can attest that there are people who can take your leg kick and kick you in the head at the same time. Krunu does it. You can kick hard enough that you take their leg out, but if you don't, that kick can come up.
But quick, because you only got a split second.
Yeah.
You go again. If they're coming on you, they're going to go really quick. Teach. Don't teach. Go. Here. See the foot angle?
Like on the hip.
See the angle there?
Yeah.
Why? Because this leg's coming up in there to kick you. It's donk.
Yeah.
You basically stop the kick.
Yeah, because 100% they're going to throw. Only weapon when you're coming that way is to hit you with a high head kick. Deck four. Title is deck four. But after you go down more, you get it. That's it. Okay, now you've got to get some more power in that jab. You've got to make them respect it. Slap it out.
So you don't want to rush, but you need to be quick, right? Your tempo is.
She's got to convert the body weight a little bit better. You got, how heavy are you now? 52? 49?
46.
What?
46.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Not fart, you fly out the window. Okay. So when you throw that jab, then you got to really you need to sort of be in the position that there's virtually nothing on that front leg. Yeah. So it's almost nothing there. It's almost, I'm coming in, boom, you just let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to get that body weight. Because at 46 kilos, you'll be only punching maximum 104, maybe 110 pounds per square inch. But if you can get body weight behind it, that could shoot up to anything to 180 pounds. That's it, that's better. Yes, that's good.
This is one of the reasons why my wanting to stay grounded
Much
doesn't
better.
allow me to use
That's
all my
strong.
power.
You're feeling it.
That's strong.
Trying to feel the like.
Is it like it's a
Now
lancing
let's
job?
say you're going to bring it to here now. So you do a different punch. You can't go 1, 2, and then punch two down.
Right.
Okay. So what he does, he throw a big hook. He'll go maybe 1, 2, then go 1, 2, then he'll throw a hook. Poof. Then he'll bring this one up center.
Yeah.
Okay. Stops him getting on for the clinch.
Yeah.
See, when the body rip comes, when he throws a massive hook or a body rip even, doesn't matter which way, this hand goes out, this hand now goes out of the defense safety line. In other words, it can't do anything at present, except block.
Yeah.
This hand is going to go for the reach to try and do the clinch, because this hand can't, because it's defending the hook. So that's why that is real important.
Yeah.
So they don't get time to go, oh, that was fake, grab him around the neck.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to go 1, 2, hook, shoot down. Okay. See, this style of fighting is like Kalahari.
Yeah.
It's the old way. They don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Because of the flow and continuity?
I think the quality of instruction has dropped a little bit because the teachers that made a living from Muay Thai, like Kutui and all Ajahn Pot, all those guys are gone. But they made a living for it, so they had to be constantly evolving and making methods to win. Because if they didn't win, their guys got no money, they got no fight, they couldn't pay for their kai moi and all that. So now it's a little bit different. The gyms rely on foreigners and maybe get one fighter gets a fight overseas and they get big money and it's not like the old days. But if you go up country and you find some of these old gyms that are just relying, eating their bread and butter from Muay Thai, you'll see the difference. The only reason I stopped teaching Muay Thai was that it got disheartening. Everybody come in, I'm a champion, I'm a champion, I'm a champion, I'm a champion, like that, and you go, you don't.
Too many champions.
But then there's maybe a little kid there that's really got what it takes, and they suddenly look around and go, oh, if that's what it is, then maybe I'll do something else because there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Right? No place to
There's no
develop
place
into.
to evolve.
Yeah.
To evolve.
Yeah.
And then what really got disheartening for me, like teaching for so long, I'd come down here and suddenly I look across the road and here's a guy in a motorbike taxi going, 3 times Lumpini champion driving motorbike taxi.
Yeah.
Has to borrow 100 baht from me. You recognise him, Sifu, and his belt's hanging over there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just thought, what are you doing? And you can't blame them for not having any way to go forward. They don't know any other help because they've been in a fight farm for all their life.
Yeah.
And
You
then
see?
there's nothing else.
Yeah, so when I thought, I don't want to be part of that. I rather teach people that want to be teachers. Sort of do what you're doing. You know, you've done your time now. You can do whatever you want in the rest of your life. No, you're set. You're set for life. You broke every record there is.
She's got one more she's breaking.
What?
470 fights, the most official
In
fights
Thailand?
ever in the world.
He was a boxer in America.
A boxer in the 1940s. 470 official fights.
Glenn Wick Ward.
She's going to break that record.
War.
Wick War.
Yeah, Wick War.
He,
We like
more
shocking
than
Sifu.
anybody ever documented.
Amateur ones, eh?
No, pro.
Yeah, but he was amateur too. Didn't he go to the Olympics?
These are all, no. These are all pro. He was a club boxer.
Oh, okay.
He was a club boxer in the 30s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s.
Yeah, we'll see.
So that's the next one.
But you've virtually done everything there is. These kids got nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And they can't teach.
Yeah.
yeah.
Very few top-ranked fighters can teach. One, they don't have the patience for it, which you've seen some.
Yeah.
You know, they just do not have the
Familiar with
patience
that
to
one.
do it.
Yeah.
They get pissed and throw things at you and storm out. No, it's true, because they don't remember.
Well, they also learned in a system, in a farm system.
Not so much. They learn when they were this far.
when they were kids. Yeah.
So they do not remember the learning process.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do not learn it. And the Western teachers come in and they take advantage of this sort of thing, and they step in and they're the Muay Thai teachers. And what's happened is there's this big gap between 1985 and 2005
Yeah.
to where the level was the best that ever had been in the history of Muay Thai.
Yeah.
That era went.
Yeah.
And nobody from that era carried it on except for Kutui and a few others. And when he died,
Very
Jan
few.
Pot died. Mai Mong Kong, who was Sak Mong Kong's trainer, died. Those guys were. I'd be sitting at a ring watching a fight, and they go, "Watch this left hook down there. 3-1, take the odds. He's going down now. Boom, the guy goes down." And you go, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And we'd sit there and make money on it.
Yeah.
Because they just knew.
They
watched 2 seconds of the fight,
They
and they go, "Here's Sifu, 10,000 baht on that." I just take a drink like that. And I say, "You crazy? He's going to get knocked out." He says, "Put 10,000 baht on him." And bam, the guy's, he wins.
Yeah.
You know, and it's because they knew it. It was a profession like an engineer.
Yeah.
Those days are gone.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons we're doing this, is because a lot of these men are aging out of being able to teach their technique.
Yeah.
Ever.
Excuse me.
Diesel, no.
No.
Getting you
No, but in 20 years,
Yeah. No, there is.
they'll only be able to get it from junior.
Right now, tell me one.
What do you mean?
Tell me, not a fighter, but a famous Muay Thai teacher living.
A famous teacher.
Tell me one.
Ajahn
You got to think
Sarai.
about it.
Arjan Sarat.
He was young compared to those guys.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about
I'm
the
talking
men
about-
who made
I'm
the
talking-
golden
yes,
age,
I'm
the
talking
ones
about
who made the
Kutui,
golden age.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about-
Ajahn
Yeah.
Pramod is still around, but he's not teaching anymore.
Pramod didn't teach much. He was a teacher at a school. He ran his gym.
Yeah.
He's my. Do you still see him?
We went to see him a year ago.
Yeah, he's
year
my
ago
best
we went to
friend.
see him.
Yeah, if you go see him, say Sifu said hello. He used to come to New Zealand, stay at
He's
my
not
house.
tech savvy. You have to actually go
He's
see
a
him.
teacher.
You have
at
to
a
actually
school.
drive up. Yeah, we went to the school across the street.
Yeah, well, see, his gym was run by Nam Kabon and Nampon's brothers.
Yeah.
The elder brothers used to teach holder pads, and it was a family thing. Jambla Mut was a really good. They loved him because he was really the best there was for the fighters. He never wanted anything from them.
He created
that's why
the-
his fighters
yeah.
stayed with him until they finished.
Yeah.
They didn't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see, and but I'm talking about guys who were scientists at Muay Thai. I'm talking about Kutui. I'm talking about Mai Mong Kong, Jan Pot.
Yeah. No, they're
Those
gone.
guys There is no more.
No, there's no more.
And now the pad holders have come up to be the
Yes.
teachers.
Thing. It's a different
But
thing.
Yeah.
yes, because a pad holder is busy trying to create targets, teachers are always looking for holes
Yeah.
to fill.
Yeah.
And that's why it's very hard now, and I believe in this world today, to get that quality back.
Yeah.
Unless people do what you're doing and actually really do their research, really want to learn it.
Yeah.
So not just fight it, they want to learn it, not make money living off it, because you're not going to, you know that.
Yeah.
But you will in the future, you'll make a shitload of money doing what you're doing. People are going to come from all around the world for you.
Mm.
But the people now, the era just got lost somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In boxing, it's almost
And
the
it's not
same.
making new men
No,
like that.
no,
That kind of
because
man no longer
It
will be.
can't.
Yeah.
It can't, because the system now is in place with social media and that it can't.
Mm.
You know, you couldn't find Kutui's gym in the old days. My house, me and him, I built my house right next to it, so I could take all, you know, Wan Janoi, Kong Tani, all those guys used to take they lived at my house, and we taught them the pads. When they could box, we took them across and we put them in, and we did the martial art, the Muay Thai and so on. But you couldn't find the place.
Yeah.
If a guy got out there on a motorbike, man, they didn't even have GPS in those days.
Nothing,
So
yeah.
when a foreigner would turn up at the gym, someone would come knocking on my door and say, Sifu, we've got a falang. Like this, there's a falang here. I says, what's he? He's come to the gym, we've got some falangs here, like that. And you'd go out. Now, normally it would only be Decker, Peter Smith, it would be one of those legends, because they're the only ones who knew how to get there.
Yeah.
But then slowly you saw more foreigners coming like that, and it went up. And then you saw gyms move into the cities,
Yeah.
which before was unheard of.
Yeah.
The gyms would always be out where the people could run and all that, but they moved into cities because they got tourists.
Yeah.
And you saw this evolution over maybe start, I think about 2002. 2002 you started seeing a decline, and then the Lumpini, Songchai left Lumpini, Lumpini dropped. Songchai tried to go to another stadium. It sort of didn't go like he thought, and then it slowly built it up, but he almost had to start again. And then the government stepped in, and because of Western pressure about regulations and all this, so the gyms could hardly make an earn anymore, and they couldn't contract fighters. So fighters would go one day this gym, have an argument with the teacher, and then go to this gym the next day and have an argument with them, and then go to this gym.
Yeah.
In the old days that didn't happen.
Yeah.
If you want to go to another gym, teacher says, here, you buy him 500,000 baht, he's yours,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and away you go.
Yeah.
What happens is the pad holder has to constantly be walking forward, a bit like when you used to do karate.
So here we're gonna be working on
If you throw
body
a body
punches.
punch and he's standing, you're going to get an overhand right or overhand left.
Sifu's saying you go
So what happens
backwards
is
on body punches.
Body punching is where you're close, but they can't get the power up top.
Okay.
Okay,
So it's almost like leaning in.
yeah, now you've got to just let it rip, and you don't ever want to punch here because you're never going to hurt them.
Because there's muscles.
Yeah, you want to hit the floating ribs on it. Yes, yeah. Now you've got to float. And keep them off with that
I'm
front
too
hand as
grounded.
well.
Again,
So you've got
I'm not
two body
airborne
shots,
the way that
remember?
Sifu wants. There goes a little bit.
Okay, just on that. The hook's good, but don't stop him with the jab. Stop him with the straight. Straight in on the center, then throw the hook.
Okay.
Okay, a jab's not going to hold. If they're coming this way at you,
Yeah.
a jab don't get through. You're not going to stop them.
Okay.
So you need to impact them with this. That's it. Yes. That's it. Good. Good. Bounce a little bit.
So if I bounce, I use more of my own body weight.
Don't pull it back so far. You don't need to.
Don't pull what?
Don't pull it back so far. You don't need to. You compensate it with the leg, with like this. Bam. Yeah. Jump a little bit.
So I'm over rotating, but he's saying that with the jump, I don't have to rotate back so far. Like I don't have to wind up on it.
That's it. Nice getting strong. But jump more. Jump more with that back with this foot here, get a little bit in the air when you throw that rip. Yeah. If you're filming the feet and then try and slow motion right down, there should be a split second which is in total midair.
So Sifu's saying that on the film, you should be able to see when I'm in the air for a split second before I land with both the punch and my feet. And here, Junior's going to do it.
Okay.
He's not jumping,
what
but you
he's
can
gonna
see
do
his
is
back
he's
foot
gonna
is
stop me
bouncing.
there, boom, like that.
Yeah.
As I sink, he's going to throw the body.
There he goes.
Okay. So hitting me in the head is not going to open this up.
Right.
But when he hits me here, I sink.
Yeah.
And that's what opens it up. So you got first, I need to get real good, strong. And the other thing is, if you're lucky, they drop and you hit them on the chin.
Right.
Oh.
But if you aim at the chin and they miss,
Yeah.
you go for a body shot, they're going to smack you. Don't leave it there, remember? Short, boom, boom. That's it. Good. Yes. Much better.
So I was kind of pushing my cross, but snapping it back allowed me to be airborne on the hook.
Little bounce, little bounce.
It's reminding me to bounce. I'm getting a little bit wide, which is good. But if I'm wide and
Now
bounce,
that's getting hard. That punch, land mate?
Land.
yes, if it was hard.
That punch is going through. So if you bounce, get that footwork a little bit more,
Yeah.
and a bit more bounce, and get him to turn. So throw that straight so that he starts to turn, and bounce off this foot. Boom.
Yeah.
Jump. Forget about looking stupid first. That's it. That's it. That's it. Forget about looking stupid. Thinking how you can get the maximum power, then the footwork will come. That's it. See, now you're mid-air. Much better. Okay, if you're going to throw doubles, you'll never throw two doubles at the same angle fast. So what you got to do is you got to separate muscle tissue to hurt them. Throw one and the second one bring it up slightly.
Slight angle.
Yeah, you rip the muscle out.
Wow.
That's it. Hard. So just throw. Yes, you feel it? Yeah. So the first one should be coming straight to dent the tissue in. Second one's got to come up
And they're kind of.
as they, while they take that breath, while they go like that. So you need to go straight on and then more of an angle up. No. Same, keep the same shape. One, and then just up. You only need change of an inch. That's it. That's it. Quick, boom. That's it. Now you throw the knee straight after. Don't go to the clinch. You just lose all your. You give them a rest when you go to the clinch. Remember?
So again, the reason footwork and balance is so important
If you've tagged them and he's
is so you can do
dazed
something
and you go
after.
to the clinch, you're letting him off.
Yeah. Okay.
So what you would do is you go bam, bam, big knee, then you're going to finish it. If you don't go down then you go to the clinch. Yeah, and then go straight back, one more stomach punch. Oh, punch. Yes. Now if he hasn't gone, then you go in for your clinch.
Right.
Yeah.
Sifu, when she throws that first straight into the solar plexus, I think she's afraid to throw that punch.
It's from the.
It's
this distance.
it's afraid. A lot of the girls are like
They're big and
long, tall.
Just do this, look.
How does she get that first punch off? What is that?
He went under my
I
front
just
arm.
push the arm like that, slightly like that.
He
Do
just
the
pulled it.
opposite of what everybody does. This, do the opposite.
Yeah.
Do the opposite and just go like that.
You just lift it.
Do the complete
well,
opposite.
do it. Just see how you
tapping it
feel.
down. That's it, yeah. That's it, yeah. Okay, because you're worrying about this, you forgot all your footwork and your bounce and you lost the power. Just Muay Thai. This is Muay Thai, look. Oh, sorry. That's Muay Thai.
Just like
So it's a
that.
distraction.
Anything that makes them do this is Muay Thai. Yes. Then throw the double. Yeah. Now you see his elbows are in your way for your rip. That's the thing you got to be careful when you're doing body shots.
So you just come inside of it.
I go below, I go here. Because what happens when I hit you once, you drop down slightly, the second one comes up higher.
At the
When
same
someone
time.
hits you in the ribs, you do that.
Yeah.
So I go lower, I
Yeah.
actually hit them over the hip,
Yeah.
hit them over the hip, and they do that and then come with the second one. Then you don't hit the elbow. That's good. Good. Yes. Okay, the knee's got to be really quick. You got to be really sharp with that knee because you're gonna knock him out with that. He one.
Is it a stabbing knee or a swinging knee?
He sort of hit one. As this one goes, you go one. This one's just going to go really short. Boom, knee. Okay, so he's going to go body.
Look at the jump on his knee.
It's like a yokompani.
So you go two.
It's a
Okay.
curved knee a little bit.
So you got to. That's and then you'll see them drop. You can go the clinch, pull them down knee. If they haven't dropped from that. That's it. Don't, let it go. 2 shots, 2 body shots. That's, yeah. Then you jump on it. Okay, now you're bouncing good.
No.
Your footwork's come on.
Your bouncing is good, he said. Can you feel
I'm
it?
not thinking about it.
So it's natural.
No, it's okay now. It's good.
Yeah.
It's before it was spastic a little bit, but now it's good. No, before you were sort of, foot was down and the shot was coming and then the shot was there and the foot was down.
Yeah.
Now it's going dunk, it's going good. So, okay, we're going to try and get changed now with the body shot. So let her go 1, 2 body shot straight. So you go after the body shot, you go straight here, you're going to change stance and step off backwards into a different stance.
Am I starting southpaw?
Doesn't matter which one.
So,
So you're going to go 1.
body shot.
No, you
No,
go straight
cross.
first.
Straight.
Straight, body.
Body.
Okay, now as you go straight, you're going to step and get off. Bam. Okay? So you just swap, yeah.
So when I don't bounce, I actually have to take many steps to balance myself and
Yeah,
move.
quick. Boom, boom, boom. I don't want to see the seat.
Bouncing and being airborne is like a shortcut. It requires less
That's it.
movement.
Good. Jump a little bit. Bum, 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 bum. Good. Now, if you really want to knock them out, you can bring it straight up to their head because their head's right there.
Yeah, they're bent.
No, they're turning to look for where you are. And he's even
on the
doing it
turn.
with his head. He tried to turn to see where you were.
Yeah.
So you need a bit more power. Yeah.
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 Peeling the skin off.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I'm not used to these gloves. I'm peeling the skin off.
Okay,
a
well,
little
don't use gloves then. Yeah, so don't go so hard if your hands are sore. Yeah, one step here, look, like this. When you're in this position, which way were you? You were this way, right?
Yep.
Okay, so as you're doing this shot here, this sort of steps, boom, just slide it round.
It's totally like a clinch turn, that pivot.
That's it. Good. That's nice. No, it's just your step off is a little bit out of sequence, but the first piece is in. So, okay, let's break it down, see where it's going wrong. Go 1, 2. Okay, that's where it's going wrong. You're throwing it this way. Look, when you step off, you're doing this and bringing it round like that. Should be this one and then that. So you go slow. 1, 2. Now you should throw straight and step. No, it should be straight.
Don't hook. Don't throw a hook.
See, as this goes like straight here, now start the step, go. Now the hook.
Okay.
So
Okay,
punch
so,
first,
yeah,
then
'cause
step.
The chance of you hitting his elbow on that one, you're going to bust your hand. Yeah. Just 1, 2, Okay, then throw, sorry, you're going one, body, body. Now hit him straight again, hit him straight. Okay, now as the impact's in here like this, boom, take the step.
So the fist touches and then you pivot. I'm switching on the punch.
Bounce it, just bounce. Let go, lift your feet. Just come.
Start bouncing, babe.
Yeah, just let it go. That's it. It'll come. Keep going. One more. That's it. That's it. Okay, a little bit more shuffle on the outside so you can really let the hook go. Let it go. You're scared to let it go. Okay, the slide off too slow, maybe because you're going too far for your size, for your leg stride. So just shorten it, and maybe come to about here. Then. Not so much, yeah. Don't,
Like just outside.
yeah, because you've got little legs. Oh, that's it.
Ah, it's not comfortable. Yeah.
That's it, yeah. So really you're just going to have to experiment a little bit. Once you've got confidence in your footwork, you'll be right. Okay, so let's say you're going to dance. What I want you to do is, do you go first? Just get in one second.
So when you shadow, you do a lot of this to get used to all the different angles and rhythms. It's very much like Yokunpan's gallop, how you imagine your weapons coming out of the rhythm.
Without trying nothing, till your brain sort of got that automotive movement, then start throwing the hands, and you will feel if you got out of sync. If you haven't got out of sync, you're doing okay.
So start with no strikes. I felt I was out.
Okay, the foot going. Just watch the foot. Don't be afraid to let them come together.
Yeah.
Okay, some people say, no, you don't put your feet together, your hook go down. That's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, why? It's not a problem, right? Some art stances like this together. Some art keeps his feet together all the time.
Yeah, all the top boxers do it. Oh, Jesus, I've seen Namkabon sit there on one leg going dang like this. But what you don't do is move in on double feet in case you get tagged. But while he's changing, he's always throwing something. You watch, if he brings his feet together, he'll always be throwing a jab. See, every time something goes, he's going to throw a jab on it. If he changes the foot, you see. So there's no chance, if they try to move him with his feet together, they get tagged.
Yeah.
So you're okay as long as your footwork is good. If it's not good and it's sort of robotic,
Yeah.
they hit you, you go
So you know
down.
where it is.
And some people say, oh, they're going to sweep your feet out from underneath you. It'd have to be so. That's it, yeah. And now and again you can bounce on one foot to get fast backwards. Look like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Sifu's float.
But this is Sifu thing.
If you need to go far, just push off like that. Yeah, just get away.
Come on.
That's it, bang, and then stop, bang, bang. Stop in your tracks and punch on. Yeah, that's it. Once you develop your footwork, then you can develop your knees, your hands, everything to match it.
Yeah.
Then you got natural, then you can cross-train.
Yeah.
But if some guys come along, I'm going to learn Muay Thai today because I'm doing MMA, and then I'm going to go and do Jiu-Jitsu, and then I'm going to go and do wrestling, and they think they're going to put it together with 3 different coaches. Doesn't work.
No.
Because
it's not cohesive. Yeah.
no, you need the footwork first. Once you've got footwork, and the footwork can be developed to match those styles from day one, then you can cross over, no problem. And then you move up the level. What the fight, you stand on your feet until you're taken to the ground.
Yeah.
So that means your stand-up has to be good.
Yeah.
If you think, okay, I'm good on the ground, I'll just let them take me to the ground.
Yeah.
What happens if they're on the way down? You can't think like that. You don't make the rules.
Balance.
Yeah, so what you do is build your coordination of your feet up and your footwork, make it automatic. Bring the hands into it so that you can comfortably let things go without stopping the feet.
Yeah.
Then add the knees, which is the hardest.
Yeah.
Add the knees in with it, with the movement. Once you've got that, you add sprawling.
Yeah.
Then that's the transition into MMA. But if you can't, don't think I'm going to stand like this and okay, each sprawl, bam, back up. It's okay to teach a basic drill, but it's not going to happen in the real fight.
Thank you very much, Sifu. That was so amazing. That was so amazing, was it not?
Yes.
It was incredible.
Yeah, no, the stuff about the old fights, you just actually go and look in some of the history. There's actually not much history written on now.
There's almost nothing.
Yeah.
It's all in what you know. Nobody knows.
No, well, it stopped.
Nobody will remember.
It stopped after